Okay, hi everyone. So welcome to today's designer session. You should all see on the screen the logo at least, and all be able to hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you're coming in from. David says he can see designer. Jory is from Ohio. Audio and visual good from Philip. Sound is good. David coming in from New Orleans. Chang from Taiwan. Lane from Houston, Jimmy from New York, Catherine from Seattle, Malcolm from Loughborough, Reno, Bristol, Carolyn, hi Carolyn, Amanda's coming in from Spain, Saul is coming in from Mexico, brilliant, all right, full house and global coverage, fantastic. All right, so on today's session, what we're going to do is just going to, first of all, this is the fourth, actually it's the third actual training webinar. We also did a promotion for Kidani Cloud, which made it 4 sessions in total, but this is the third training one. And I want to just talk about what we've been up to, what's gone live and last week. And then I'm just going to do a bit of training, on trust and performance. Okay. So that, you're getting your site up and running and you're actually getting leads and getting conversion. So I want to just ensure that, everyone is up to speed on that. Okay. All right. So just in terms of the product itself, so if you're on last week's webinar, then we talked about how image manipulation is made a lot easier now. So you can adjust, formatting left to right. There's also, let me open that up a bit. There's also an image editor. So, everyone can edit their images and put sort of Instagram effects or text on images, etc. And repagination is added. So sometimes, when you import a document, an article, some of the formatting, some of the text gets overlaid with, images and things like that. And that's because some images come in too big, for a book. They're fine on the web, but when they come into, a book type format, the image overlays, 1 or 2 pages. So we've got this tool called repagination, which helps you resolve that. Okay, so let me just flip across now into Designer just to show you what that looks like. So I found a good example of that yesterday. Let me just see if I can find that again. What was it? Build scale, something like that. Someone was showing me this site. Build, grow, scale. Okay. So they have a blog. Which is running slowly. Still loading, so there's a good chance this might actually time out. Okay, here we go. So 5 Google AdWords metrics your competitors aren't tracking. All right, so when I pulled this in yesterday, this had trouble formatting. I want to show you why, because it's got tons of images on there. So when you create a project out of that, and that pulls that in. Let's click on Sydney. This is the demo. So when that comes, oh, what's happened here? Let's do that again. This site, it might be because this site times out. Let's just try that again. And I'm also on the test server, so that wasn't very clever, was it? Let's try that. Let's do it on a live. Maybe this is one of those sites. So we've had a couple of instances where some people have, not been able to import at all, and they've literally ended up in a blank project. And we're trying to find these these cases so we can actually work out what's going on. What we think it is some blogs, if they're running too slow, then our system just completely times out. And in fact, it's what's going on here is it's actually my machine, because I can't get anything working. Give me 1 second, let me just close a few things down so we can just speed this up for you. All right, I'm just going to switch off the recording just for a second, because you don't really want to watch all this on the replay, so hold on. Okay. Oh, it did come in. Hang on. Let's put that back on. Okay. So actually, while I was messing around with my other screen, it did actually load. So I've got my you won't be able to hear this, but my fan on my laptop is churning away. So my actual machine is running quite slowly. So, but this gives us a good example, right? Because basically that's imported this this document, and you can see what's happened here. We've got overlap. Okay. And what you can do on these, if you click on any of these containers and click on that little icon here, okay, that's basically called repaginate, and that reorganizes the whole document, okay, so that you don't get these overlapping situations where there's an image that's gone over 2 pages, okay, and gone into the text. So I'm scrolling down, seeing if there's another one. I think that sorted it actually. But as I scroll down, okay, we come to the end. So that's actually reformatted that. But if you saw that earlier, the text had been pushed into the header of the footer because the image was too big for the page. Okay, and so that's why if you click on any of these paragraph elements, there's this icon here. It's looks like a recycle icon. And when you click on that, that just reorganizes your whole document for you. Okay, so that is that's sorted out most of the issues that people have had with the formatting once it comes in. The other thing that's going out probably tomorrow now is the handling of fonts. Okay, now there's 2 areas where you can deal with fonts. Okay, so you have this area here called the text style, and then you also have a pop-up when you go into content. Okay, so when you go into content like this, okay, you have this pop-up that appears. Now the difference between the 2 is that if you go to a paragraph mark, okay, and change the text style on the left hand side, you're changing the text style for the style sheet for the whole document. Okay, so if you change it to impact, for example, you can see everything changes. So this is like if I want to override the font that's been chosen according to your theme, you can change the whole thing here by selecting any paragraph and then changing the font right here. Okay. The other thing we've done is the Google font selector. As you know, there are 733 fonts here. and it makes it difficult to find fonts that you know and love. Okay, so if I wanted to find a font, let's say one on page 61 called Fasthand, okay, and I was on page 1, what we added is this search feature here, okay, called Fasthand. So if you type in the word and press return, then it will find that font for you. If you want, for example, all serif fonts, yeah, then it will search on those. If you want all sans serif fonts, okay, then it will find all those as well. Yeah. So, now you can actually find, Google fonts so if you know a font that you want to use, then, we've added this search facility so you can actually choose one and, just put it in and insert it. Okay. So, let's have a quick look. Someone's saying the audios keeps popping out. Let me know that the rest of you can hear me. It could be basically my machine suddenly is running really, really slowly, and I can't disconnect the webinar now. So, so people are just asking, what are some Google fonts to use? Well, Herman, use whatever you fancy. I mean, the great thing about the Google fonts is you can see what they look like. Okay. So in this pop-up here, you can actually see what each font looks like before you select it. So if I wanted something really weird, like this one called Covered by Your Grace, which is a handwriting font, then I can click on that and it changes it. Okay. Let's just go back to the right way. Now, the point I wanted to share with you is that now if you wanted to change just an individual paragraph, okay, and not change the whole style, then if you double click on your font or whatever you want to select, yeah, then you can change it individually here. Okay. So you literally select, whatever it is, and it will change it. Now, sometimes if there are multiple fonts within this box, it can be a bit quirky, okay, to change them, because what's happening is it's trying to identify which font to change. Yeah. But the point is that once this is going out hopefully tomorrow, but once you can, once you actually select the thing that you actually want to change, then, you can actually change that on screen specific to the paragraph you're actually in. Okay. Let's have a look at the chat box. Okay, so David's having trouble getting rid of the designer logo when placing an image into the document. Okay, so what you do, David, so if you want to put an image in, you go to Elements, okay, and you go to Media, and you go to Image, and you drag an image in, okay, and so what you're saying is you're having trouble changing this image, right? So what you do is you select the image, you go to Attributes, you go to Media Manager, and you select the image you want to put in there. Okay, so obviously you've got your own images, or you can search, for any new images, and pop them in. Okay, does that make sense, David? Okay, just move my image up. There we go. So Lena's saying she's tried several imports from Pages build with a content builder plugin, and the import does not work. What WP theme or content builder plugin do you use or support? It doesn't really work like that, Lane. So we've got there's two ways of getting content in here. Okay, so you've either got the automatic import. All right, so this is where you can let's add a new article in down here, for example, and it pops up a little box there where you can put a URL. Okay, so if I want to put in the Kadani blog URL. Let's just get that up. And then I can paste that into here. Okay, and it pulls it in here. Okay, so that's one way. Now, if you're saying that that doesn't work with a certain site, okay, then the other way to do it is to take that content and paste it in. And you do that, again, by putting in new article, okay, and clicking on import manually and pasting your content into here, okay. Now, if you're finding, and I don't know if it's your own site, that's, consistently having problems importing it, then let us know in support, because, what we're doing all the time is improving our auto import algorithm. And, what we need is test cases, so examples of what's not working so that we can code around it. Okay. So Lane, I hope that helps you. Okay, so Ronnie's just saying, after deleting the PDF from Designer, can I upload the PDF to edit it? So once you have a PDF created, you can save that to your machine. You can do what you want with it. So if you have a PDF editing tool, then by all means you can do that. It's no big issue. So Christian's saying about copy and paste. So he's asking, is copy and paste working? So copy and paste works to the extent where, if you take some text and you use Control-C and you want to paste it into a new box, but using Control-V, that works fine. Okay. If you have some text you can paste in, then, that all works using Control-C, Control-V, the normal copy-paste type commands. What you can't do yet is import from Word. Okay. And that's, a big piece that we're working on, because Word includes a lot of characters that HTML editors don't support, and it causes a lot of problems. Okay. Iris is just saying, is there a recording? Yep, there'll be a recording. David's saying, yes, but the Designer logo remains. So on the image, David, so I think what it shouldn't do at all. I mean, you've got to make sure that you select the image when you do that, okay? Then the logo, because there's only one image placeholder, right? So if you put in a new image, then it won't, it won't stay there, okay? Eric's saying, I'm having trouble positioning the image where I want it. So if you watched the last training session, what we covered here is positioning images. Okay, so I've pasted this image here. Now every image is wrapped in a placeholder. Okay, and the placeholder is called a paragraph. And so if I want to, this helps adjust the image for me. So if I want to move it to the right, then I can move it to the right. If I want to move it to the left, I can do that. Okay. If I want to resize the image itself, then I select the image, and I can, resize it free format, okay, like that. Or if I hold down the Shift key as I do it, then it will maintain the proportions for me. Okay, so I can resize that image. And now if I want to move that image further to the right, then I just use these keys to do that. Okay. So Eric, so hopefully that solves your problem about where you want to, moving images. Yeah, so Pam's saying the same thing. You just need to use this, this paragraph placeholder and just adjust it, okay? Wherever you want it to go. This is like the box that the image sits in. You got it? Okay. Okay, so Carolyn's just saying, had a problem adding calls to action to the bottom of the page, half empty, so plenty of room, ended up with 2 footers. You just got to make sure when you drag your call to action over, we're trying to work out where you want it. So when you drag it, just drag it into an empty space. Okay. If you've dropped it before the end, for example, then you can just click on it once and then drag it down. Okay. And then if you find yourself right at the end, okay, and you've still got text there, then you need a new page at the bottom. Okay. And to do a new page, you grab page header like this. Okay. And this will create your new page for you. Okay. So if we go to, where's my call to action gone? Oh, I put it in the wrong place. But if I, let's put it, so I want my call to action down here. This is probably what Carolyn's talking about. I see what you're saying. So what's happening is it dropped into the footer, right? So let's do that again, like that. So, in that situation, you just click on it and then just drag it up a little bit, so it's out of the footer there. And what you might have then, because I just added a new page. So remember, if I needed to get rid of a page, then I need to select the header, click on select page, and then click delete or trash bin. Okay. And that moves it. Same here. Okay. Select the page, delete it. So now I've got another gap here. So let's move this one up. In fact, I'm going to move these two bits here. I can move that up to there. Move that up to there. Because I want that at the end. And then my call to action is 2 pages down now. So I'm just going to remove these 2 pages. Okay, select header, select the page, and then click delete. Select the header, select the page, and then click delete. Okay, and everything comes up. I might just move that text up there as well. Okay, so right, lots of people are asking about where will this end up, where will the recording be. So the recording is going to be in learn.designer.io. Okay, so this will be where we're putting all the FAQs and everything. We're just building this site right now. So there are the previous 2 recordings right there. Elizabeth's saying, can I add text just by typing in? For sure. So you can either double click that and start just typing new text. Oops. Okay. If you want to put if you want to put another paragraph in, so you go to Elements, and you go to Typography and go to Paragraph, and then drag a paragraph in, and then start typing away. Okay, so that should take care of you, Elizabeth. Okay, Maria's saying, is there a way between Kudani Cloud and this to be able to spin several articles? Not really, Maria. I mean, it's not, you don't really want to get into that game too much. It's the best way to rewrite an article is just to curate something and add your own, intro and summary, rather than trying to spin the whole thing, because, the spinning technology, I mean, some of it's really good, but it's not that, readable. And we're really trying to just create content that people actually want to read, because you need people to engage, with your brand, with your website and everything. And, you can detect spun content. Yeah. Any human can do that. So Philip's just saying, for Word, save in HTML, then import. Philip, the problem is that Word still embeds all these characters. That's the biggest problem. James is saying, is there a word processor editor that you know of that will work with Designer at this point that we can download? James, just use text for now. Yeah, if you want to do that. Or anything that, I mean, you can, welcome to play with it, but you want to use the manual import, because this is this is just a raw editor here, but it's an HTML editor. Okay. So, as long as it lays out cleanly here, then, it'll probably come, in quite nicely. Okay. So anyone still having problems with this image thing, so hopefully I've shown you how that works. You've got to make sure that when you put in an image in there, that you actually click on the image. Okay. Chang saying, in Elements, can you put an ordered list? It should already be there. So if you go to Elements and you go down to Typography, then you have, oh, right, I see what you're saying. So there's an unordered list, but that should still, accomplish what you need, Chang. Lawrence saying, what do I mean by these keys? I think you mean, I probably meant Control-C, Control-V, okay, for copy and paste. So William's saying, when I import text manually, can I globally change the header and the footer? So William, do you mean the styling of that, or the actual text? Because I am aware that, some people want to change just this page, okay? And some people want to change, if they change the header on one page, they want it to change globally. And the problem with that is that if you have multiple articles imported, then you'll lose track of which article is which, right? Okay, just looking through any new questions here. Okay, so William's saying the actual text for each header and the footer. Right, so you want to put the text in one place and it change globally. Okay, all right, well, I get that, and we'll add that to the list. I can see why you'd want it, and perhaps that's something that we should put an option so when people want to change the text, they can choose whether to do it just for one or whether to do it for everything. Okay, so Arlene is saying, I don't see where repaginate was. So if you go to any text box and click on it, you've got 4 icons here at the top, okay? The first one's like a recycle icon. That's the repaginate one. The second one is edit, the next one locks it, and the last one deletes it. Okay, so you just click on that and it rejigs the whole document. Okay, cool. So that's William. Lawrence is saying, can we change the colors of the user interface? Light gray and dark gray is not so easy to use when one isn't already familiar with UI. Okay. Yeah, it's not, I get what you're saying, Lawrence. It's probably not going to be a priority right now. What we want to do is just get the bulk of it, all working for everyone. Herbert's saying, can you change the background color globally? So if you select, if you select anyway away from any place away from, a page and go to background, then you should, and I've done this, I must admit, you should be able to change the background color. There you go. So Herbert, that's how you change the background color globally. Okay. I'm going to change it back to white. Okay. Stephen just saying, can you show how to add bulleted lists? Stephen, I just did that here, yeah? I mean, there's unordered list is the only list that we currently have, but, it's bullets, right? So it's unordered list is the item, okay? Good. All right, fine. So let's just quickly whiz back to the training. So that's, so I went through the image. We actually did quite a lot in that. you probably saw an email, so any pro users got some new cover images and the 3D cover editor, which is now up and running on live. So let me just make sure you saw that. So if you save a document and go out of it, let's just see what the cover is on this one. Okay, so we've got the old cover. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select a different cover. Okay. Let's select ocean. Get a picture of the ocean. There we go. Let's select that one. Okay, so you do your cover, etc., and then you save that. And as it's saving, what happens is it generates a thumbnail, of that cover, and it takes a few seconds to generate that. And so if you go out, you'll be able to see whether it's finished generating it or not. So a quick look at the question box. Okay, good. All right, so it's created the cover for me. Okay, so then I click on 3D, and then up comes the cover image. Okay, and I can say hardback, paperback, or do simply a flat layout, which is basically got a drop shadow on there. And then I click on generate image, and it will then convert that actually into an image. Okay. All right, so then click on 3D where. So it's just, obviously this is for pro users, right? But it's just here, it's called 3D cover generator. Okay, so coming back to that, so an agency, user management and templates from projects. So now you can, from any project, you can create a template from it. So you can create your cover, your style, your colors and everything. And so every time you do another import, you can just select that. And it'll instantly adopt that project as a template for you. So, the main things that we're working on right now is, and we talked about this, the import from Word, the font handlings you've just seen, that's currently in progress. The 3D cover generator, the font handling, I put it there twice. Site imports are always improving. Okay, so what we need from you guys is what's not working. So if you have a site that's not importing at all, then let us know so we can add it to the list. And then undo, redo, so you can undo changes, as you've, as you encounter them. Our overall roadmap. So this is the priority. This is what we're focusing on right now, and then after that, we're moving on to the TOC builder, importing from other sources like Google Docs, being able to publish a responsive mobile-friendly version to your website, exporting to Kindle, RSS feed integrations, adding videos to books people can embed videos in, and creating a marketplace where people can publish their finished books for other people to download and share. Okay. If you need any links, these are the links that I've still left on the main site. I'll just put those in the chat box quickly. Okay, and there's the bonus one. And then what I want to just talk about for a couple of minutes is trust, okay? And for this, I'm going to give you a couple of things. So first of all, I'm going to give you, and you can download this later, but this is a website cheat sheet, okay? And I'll show you this in a second. And the second thing I'm going to give you is a URL, which is a really good article on speeding up WordPress. Now, as you build your site, it's essential that you build it to convert, okay? And so trust is one of the core things around this, because you don't have the opportunity to talk to anyone. No one sees your face. No one knows what kind of person you are. And yet you're asking this person, to submit their email address. Okay. So you've got to make your site, look trustworthy. Okay. That you're going to treat, their email with respect, and you look like a trustworthy company. Okay. And so one of the website cheat sheet is basically what you see in front of you. Okay. And it's, a list of things that you can do on your site to convey that trust. Okay. So, obviously starting with the logo, make sure your logo is clear and polished. Okay. So make sure it's not pixelated, or fuzzy. It's got to be like really clear, simple, and professional. So you just need to create a really good quality logo. And I don't mean you have to go and buy one and spend lots of money on it. You can do logos really, really simply just using text. But just make sure that they don't, when they go on the site, they don't look fuzzy or cheap. Okay. And the second thing is put your phone number on your site. Okay. And you don't have to put your own personal phone number. You can use, various, there's 0800 numbers you can get for, and it's pennies. It doesn't cost hardly anything. Because you're not likely, depending on, your business, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get flooded with calls, but, because most people like to chat by email or other sources. But what it does do is it sends a signal to the person looking at the site that you're a real business. Okay. Makes a big, big difference. And it also tells Google and Facebook that you're a real business, right? So you'll find your ad quality scores will go up as well. Make sure your navigation's really easy. It's at the top and it's logical. Okay. So, those 4 items are the most common items that you need to have on your site. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people, bury or hide their navigation. Okay. You need to make sure it's really clear and right up there. Okay. And, if you've got any sort of industry symbols or brand associations, then include them on your site, right? So, you can do little tricks. So, for example, let's say with Kidani, for example, Kidani works with WordPress. Okay. So we put on the home page, Kidani works with, and we put the WordPress logo on there. And we've got a few other logos as well, but, they make the site look more trustworthy. Okay. So any industry organizations you might be a member of, anything like that, perhaps you might have an SSL certificate, then, you can get an SSL certificate like stamp, from the provider. You can put that on your site as well. All these things, tell the person that you're a real business and someone that, they can subscribe to. Okay. Just to give you an idea, this site here, just by adding on the right hand side in their variation, they added the 3, icons: money back guarantee, recognize Australia wide, fast turnaround. Okay. That's nothing that they don't do already. There's nothing different there. Okay. But, just by making those changes, they, got like a 33% uplift, in conversions, right? Because it just made the whole site look more trustworthy. Okay, so now depending on what sort of business you are, you should try and put a welcome image, okay, with a person there. Okay, be great if it was yourself, but something, or if you use an avatar, then use an avatar, but something to communicate the fact there's real people again behind the business. All right. And then again, depending on your product, a demo video or a tour, a testimonial that's benefit driven, and some sort of social proof. Okay. All this kind of stuff, okay, needs to be right, there ideally above the fold. Yeah. Because what you're trying to do is, generate leads. You're trying to get people to, download your lead magnet. Okay. And submit, their name and email address. And so you've just got to instantly, in that, 1.5 to 2 seconds, you've got to convey a whole load of trust signals, to the person landing on that site straight away. Okay, this one, as soon as they added social proof, okay, into this, they got an instant uplift in conversions. So it was just an e-commerce site, selling bags, and all they did is just add, that Facebook thing there that made it look like this human's buying this thing, okay, and instantly they got an uplift in conversions. So other things you can do is live chats. This again depends on your business. Put your address at the bottom of the site and terms and privacy. I mean, the very least you have to have terms and privacy on your site. You'll never be able to do any advertising without that, right? If you have your address on there, you'll get a better quality score, with Facebook and Google. Same with the phone number. Okay. If you've got a live chat, then you're able to get information from your customers straight away to find out whether they have any questions on the site or the product, or perhaps you're not communicating something, that you think is really obvious and they're not getting. That's your opportunity to ask them, whether that's ask them basically whether it's working or not. Okay, so those are all the trust areas that you need on your site, okay, and the trust points. Now, this is all on this website cheat sheet that I've given you, okay, so you can go through this. And then, with your call to actions, this is where you've got to direct the person and tell them what to do, okay? So, again, above the fold, the call to actions, we've got one right at the very top there saying download our website cheat sheet, for example. Then we got one on the right-hand side. We've got the phone number, which is a call to action. We've got the lead magnet download. We've got one that scrolls up at the bottom that says download this lead magnet. The phone number. The live chat is also a call to action, okay, and a pop-up, okay, which grabs their attention. So all these things you need to put on your site to get leads, okay. So convey trust, put calls to action. Those are your core focus areas for your site if you want to increase the leads to your business. Okay, so I'm just looking through the chat box now. Anthony's saying, are we able to protect logos from being copied and used by others? So Anthony, you're worried about your logo being copied and used by others. Is that what you mean by that? Why would you want to stop people using? I mean, if they're using your logo to sell their things, is that what you're thinking? Because at the end of the day, if someone's using your logo on another site, assuming they're selling something of yours, you kind of want that. You want as much brand exposure as possible, right? Dennis has put in a good suggestion saying use Google Voice for a phone number. It's free. Absolutely. Maria's saying Twilio. Yeah, absolutely. Susan's saying thanks for the cheat sheet. Dennis is saying a good plugin for trust seals. Dennis, what I would do for a trust seal is get a SSL certificate from a hosting company and get that on there. Basically SSL itself is probably going to be a significant trust signal moving forward, because it shows that you're investing in your site. Okay, an SSL certificate you can only have if you have at least a name and address, or you actually are an authentic person. Okay, so what I would do is I'd get an SSL certificate from someone like Komodo or something like that. They're very cheap nowadays. Get your hosting company to set it up, and you can use their trust symbol. You can use their brand on your site. Okay, and that way then you're conveying a trust seal that's ethical. Okay, you're not making up your own logo or your own trust seal. Okay, and you're also putting SSL on your site, which is good for business as well. Susan's saying, where do you get the Facebook thing? It's a plugin, Susan. It's actually called the Facebook plugin. If you search on Facebook, you should be able to find that. Michael's saying, what are your suggestions regarding new CAN spam legislation? So unless there's something brand new that I don't know about, Michael, generally CAN spam is, you've got to ensure that, obviously you don't spam them, but the bottom of every email you send, you need to have obviously the unsubscribe, which most autoresponders do automatically. You need to have your contact details, so your address, your organization details. Those are the core things. I think Canada is talking about something a bit more explicit, but it's going to be very hard to enforce. Carolyn, I put the URL to the cheat sheet in the chat box. Dave's saying, how vital is live chat and does it affect the load speed? It depends on your business, Dave, in terms of how vital it is. If you're getting traffic there and you're trying to convert them on your site, it's really, really useful because people do use it, and they will ask questions which give you the ideas to put in the FAQ, for example. Okay, there's so much going on in the reader's mind that you don't know. Whether it affects site speed, there are tons of live chat apps out there, and they shouldn't affect site speed at all. Okay. Where is the cheat sheet, Nora? So the cheat sheet in the chat box. Okay, I've just put it in the chat box. I'll paste it again. Okay, cool. Right, we're almost coming to the end of this call. Marcus is saying, have the cheat sheet as a PDF. It is a PDF, Marcus. Okay. So Michael's asking about Kidani Cloud. There's a Kidani Cloud webinar tomorrow. Susan's saying there's Google verified seal. Okay, cool. Eric's loves the progress. Oh, Eric's talking about the Canadian law. Okay. Now, I haven't got a viewpoint on that yet. I think it's going to be very hard to enforce, to be honest. Very hard to enforce. Okay. Arlene's saying, how do you provide live chat? There are a ton of little plugins out there. And I think there's been a few marketing ones that have been launched recently, actually. If I find one, then I'll put one in the learn.designer. I'll see if I can find you a live chat link. Okay, cool. Okay, Marty's just put a free live chat link in. He just sent me it, so I'm just going to put that in the chat box. Have a look at that. Okay. Malcolm's loving Kidani Cloud and Picasso. They're game changers. That's brilliant, Malcolm. I really appreciate that. Dale, Kidani, you bought Kidani 2 years ago. What's cloud? So come on the webinar tomorrow, Dale. I don't want to cover Kidani Cloud on this one. This is really for people in Designer. Okay, cool. Jimmy's just asking about agencies and pricing. So, Jimmy, you're talking about pricing for ebooks. Is that what you mean? So, Jimmy's just saying, what sort of pricing should I charge as an agency? Susan's saying, can we give table of contents? That's on the roadmap. Yeah, we covered that. Jimmy's saying yes. Okay. Well, Jimmy, so in terms of pricing for ebook generation, okay, it really depends on the customer, because different customers put different value on it, right? Let me just tell you, like last week, one of our customers, who might even be on this webinar, but his colleague literally went to 3 or 4 different lawyer sites, created 3 or 4 different ebooks as lead magnets, put his logo and brand on the cover, and then emailed them to those lawyers saying, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you, I've just created you a sample, what do you think, type thing. And he charged $1,000 for that. Okay, so to a lawyer, they're willing to do that, right? If it's maybe a dentist, they might not pay so much, okay, but maybe at least 500. Yeah, I think anything less than 500 is probably not worth your time doing, unless you get really good and you're churning them out and you've got your process set up for mailing them out, because you're probably only going to convert 1 out of every 10 or something like that. Okay, so it depends on the market. So lawyers will obviously pay a lot more, that area. Dentists will pay about half that, but still high value. Cosmetic dentists, things like that. But it's the point is, because you can churn these out quite quickly, then you can experiment with it. So Jimmy, yeah, you're suggesting 297. Why don't you start with that, and if it's selling, get your process sorted, and then you can just increase the price. Okay, because people are not, people are, if you're targeting the right business, it's not so much the price that matters. Okay, so it's 297 or 497, that probably won't make a much difference to them. Okay, it's the fact that they're getting, a quality ebook, already done for them, and it looks good. So, I would, they're not going to make a decision on price, they're going to make a decision on whether they want it or not. So to a real business, to a dentist, whether they're paying 297 or 497 makes no difference to them. Okay. And Greg's just saying, yeah, that was his partner, Drew. Yeah, I remember Greg. That was brilliant, right? And of course, the lawyer wants more services. Yeah. So it's like open the door. Yeah. It's opened the door to more business. And especially if you've got Kodani Cloud, and you want to offer a content marketing service, then, doing the PDF ebook lead magnet process opens the door to these companies. Yeah. It's a lot harder to sell a content marketing package, from a cold introduction. Yeah. But it's a lot easier to sell a lead magnet. So you can sell a lead magnet, and that opens up the conversation. And just as Greg just said, the lawyer then comes back for more and more. Okay, guys, I really need to finish up now, and let's just closing up the webinar. We're just at the hour. So this webinar will go up in the site at learn.designer. Okay. Let me grab that link to put that in. So this is the site we're building for all our help webinars and FAQs. Okay, so I'll put this up there. Thanks everyone for being on the call. I hope you found that really, really useful. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks a lot.